global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them. Crises precipitate change.
Secretly plotting your demise. I want to devise a virus.
Hello everyone, Darko 2012 here, Global Government News, covering an article by Chuck Baldwin, and it's titled A Warning to Tea Party Nation, and it was posted on February 12th, 2010. It says, as far as grassroots activism goes, the surge in tea parties across America is one of the more encouraging developments to recently take place. It reminds me of the conservative revolution of 1994, when the GOP reclaimed both the U.S. House and Senate. At that time, it had been almost over 40 years since the Republican Party controlled both the House and the Senate. And between the two, the House victories were the most significant. Spurred mostly by the election of Bill Clinton in 1992, a host of young, energetic freshman Republicans marched into Washington, D.C., determined to return a burgeoning and out-of-control federal leviathan to a constitutional precepts of limited government. I'm talking about then freshman House member such as Helen Chenoweth, Steve Largent, Bob Barr, Joe Scarborough, Sonny Bono, John Shadegg, J.C. Watts. These young conservatives went to Washington, D.C. determined to reduce the growth and size of the federal government. The vehicle used to transport these young conservatives from grassroots activism to the U.S. House and Senate seats was highly touted contract with America, CWA, which was orchestrated by House Speaker-to-be Newt Gingrich. The CWA included a promise to the American people that if they would give the GOP a majority in Congress, they would eliminate up to 5 federal departments, such as the Department of Energy and Education, and many federal agencies. Obviously, not only did the GOP control Congress not eliminate a single federal department or agency, or even shrunk the size of federal government at all, it expanded the size and scope of the federal government at every level. And there was one reason for it. Big government neocons posing as champions of conservatism co-opted and destroyed the conservative revolution of 1994. So everybody, this is a great article, and it's not finished yet. There's still plenty more. I may not even be able to get to the rest of it, but I really recommend that you check this out. I'll post a link as always, and so you can kind of immerse yourself into it, into what Chuck Baldwin is saying, because it's very important. And this is what I've been stressing in my videos recently, starting with the Sarah Palin kind of comical event with the Tea Party convention. So he's breaking it down here, shotgun style, with comparing it to the 94 conservative revolution. And so I hope that conservatives out there will abandon this Tea Party movement and start their own and call it the anti-Tea Party conservative movement, So you need to separate yourself from that newly co-opted. Chuck Baldwin goes on to say, if one wants to put names to these treasonous wretches, and I do, I'm talking about the charlatans such as Newt Gingrich and Trent Lott. Anyone who thinks that Newt Gingrich is a real conservative or that he will do anything to reduce the size and scope of the federal government needs to speak with any of those Republican members of the freshman class of 1994. Sadly, too, some of the members of that great freshman class went on to become big government toadies themselves, such as the power of that putrid province by the Potomac. I think he's referring to possibly Joe Scarborough, who now has his own little MSNBC show. The Tea Parties of 2010 remind me very much of the conservative revolution of 94, and if the Tea Party nation is not very careful, they will succumb to the same fate. The signs of a silent takeover of the movement are already appearing. And he's referring to what? Glenn Beck, and now Sarah Palin, and the corporate funding that they're getting now, along with all the feds, undercover feds that they're attracting to these events now. First of all, Tea Parties were actually born during the presidential campaign of Congressman Ron Paul of Texas in 2007 and 2008. For all intents and purposes, the Tea Parties and the Ron Paul Revolution were one and the same. These were mostly young people who were sick and tired of the same old establishment Republican Party. They were tired of establishment Republicans selling out the principles of limited government. They were tired of the U.S. Constitution being ignored and trampled by both Republicans and Democrats. They were tired of the incessant interventionist U.S. foreign policy that keeps sending U.S. forces overseas to advance a burgeoning New World Order. They were tired of perpetual war. They were tired of the bank bailouts. They were tired of the Federal Reserve, etc. I know this because I met and spoke before the Tea Party Nation in state after state. I campaigned for Dr. Paul during the Republican primaries back in 2008, and I met them again all over America as I was running an independent candidate for president, with Ron Paul's endorsement no less. I was with them in scores of meetings, big and small, from Washington, D.C. to Spokane, Washington, and all points in between. And of course I was there too because I actually helped in the district and the university that I attended. I helped, I was part of the grassroots Ron Paul campaign, and so I know what he's talking about. I was actually, just get this, guys, I was actually just getting into politics around 2008, and I was actually for Dennis Kucinich, believe it or not. And then when I realized that Dennis Kucinich didn't stand a chance, I met some libertarians and anarchists that were campaigning, grassroots campaigning, and canvassing for Ron Paul. And they were the smartest, most knowledgeable people I think I've ever met. And I was just so impressed with the people that were surrounded that campaign. Which I was just like, wow, libertarianism and anarchism, I really got to learn more about this. It was not your typical republicanism. But it says about... But now, many of the Tea Parties are distancing themselves from Dr. Paul and embracing establishment players such as Sarah Palin and Glenn Beck. Even Newt Gingrich is being courted. Watch out, Tea Party Nation. You're in danger of losing your soul. Newt Gingrich is not one of you. He is not your friend. He is an imposter. He will destroy you like he did, almost single-handedly destroy the conservative revolution of 1994. Plus, be careful about Sarah Palin and other establishment Republicans. She is currently playing both sides. She's promoting big government neocons such as John McCain on the other hand, and sincere conservative libertarians such as Ron Paul on the other. But if one wants to a real barometer of Palin's true colors, look no further than her endorsement of Rick Perry in Texas. Good point. She promoted Rick Perry and said that he is a true conservative. I'm sure Texans are reeling in their skin right now. Perry is the quintessential establishment Republican. Perry has been in office for some 9 years, and what he has done to thwart the New World Order in Texas, nothing. Perry is even a Builder Group attendee. What he has done for the state sovereignty in Texas, nothing. In fact, he supports the North American Union and the NAFTA superhighway. What has he done to resist Obama's universal health care proposals? Nothing. What has he done to protect the citizens of Texas against an emerging police state? Nothing. What has he done to fight illegal immigration? Nothing. And it goes on and it says, I'm going to skip down here, guys, so just check this out yourself. It says, the Tea Party nation should expect better. The nation also needs to be careful about Glenn Beck. He says many of the right things. He is likable and charismatic, but he also is dead wrong on a number of issues that are critical to the Tea Party nation and conservatism. He's dead wrong when he attempts to disparage and impugn Congressman Ron Paul, saying Dr. Paul is a crazy, kooky guy. He's dead wrong in supporting the banker bailouts, and he's dead wrong when he supports raising taxes, which he's done on several occasions. And he's dead wrong when he supported the Patriot Act. He's dead wrong when he viciously attacks the 9/11 victim families who demand further information about what happened. And he's dead wrong when he mocks people such as Alan Keyes and Joe Farr for demanding Barack Obama release his birth certificate. And he's even called for the arrest and I think possibly killing 9/11 truthers. So this guy is nuts. It says, and now I hear they're the same self-professed members of the Tea Party Nation who are actually running for Congressman Paul's U.S. House seat in Texas. If this is not a sign that the establishment Republicans are hijacking the Tea Party movement, I don't know what is. Remember, the Tea Party movement began as a support base for Dr. Paul in 2007. I strongly encourage the Tea Party faithful to read Jan Hampshire's recent column on the subject. So there you go, everybody. That's it right there. Just check it out. I didn't get all of it, but I got most of it. This is the biggest thing I can tell you. Jump ship on the Tea Party or just scream